Welcome back to the Tac Tac. Today, I'll be going over everything that happened during week 3. So sit back and grab some Scooby Snacks and enjoy the show. So how this works is for each topic, I wrote down a couple things. So to start off with, we got uh, NFL, which for that, I put injuries are still piling up, which is scary to think about. Like, what if Aaron Rodgers, for example, gets hurt? That would suck, but that's still happening. And this is probably another reason why Joe Montana is one of the goats of the NFL. Hall of Famer Joe Montana saves his grandchild from getting kidnapped. So he has an intruder or something like try kidnapping the grandchild, and then him and his wife stopped him, and the person ended up getting arrested. So that's good. But then let's go back to actual football news for the NFC. The division leaders after week 3 are the Packers, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, and the Redskins. And yes, somehow the Redskins are still leading the NFC least, as I like to call it. But NFC East worst division, and in my opinion, NFC West is the best division. So let's go to the NFC North. The Bears have switched to Nick Foles, which I don't blame them. Which is kind of weird because Mitchell Trubisky was 2-0 as a starter. So technically, so because he did play half that game, so that's insane. I don't blame him, but it's just crazy to think about. But and then the Packers proved to be the real deal again. But we're still being called the worst, even if we go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl, the worst undefeated team of all time. It's no matter what, we're just gonna be called the worst. But next, let's go to the Packers. Aaron Rodgers still the best QB in the league, in my opinion. He had 21 out of 32 completions, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Still hasn't thrown a pick this season. Russell Wilson can't say the same. But next, the defense clutched up and uh, wait, okay, one sec. The defense clutched up with the strip sack, but had a ton of missed tackles, which sucks. But they clutched up when we needed them the most, which is really good. And then the final point for the Packers is we got still the number 1 scoring offense in the league through 3 weeks. Just want to put that out there. So it's not because we're playing bad teams. Then let's go to the Vikings. The Vikings broke a NFL record with one player having 175 receiving yards and another player, like a different player, having 175 rushing yards. They still lost, but I guess that's something the Vikings could brag about because we know they don't got no rings to brag about. But next is defense did not show up this time. They allowed 444 yards, which in my opinion is leading to Mike Zimmer's seat is probably starting to heat up. He's a defensive minded coach, and their defense is the reason why they lost. That's all I gotta say. But next is the Bears. And again, Nick Foles replaced Mitch Trubisky during the game. They ended up winning, obviously. Running back Tyreek Cohen, I don't even know how to say the name, but tore his ACL, so that sucks. That's another injuries out for the season. And then another one is, oh yeah, again, Nick Foles starting. What I wrote that? I don't even know. But Lions head coach Matt Patricia outcoached Cardinals. Is the only reason. It's the thing is Cardinals their coaching was so bad that even Matt Patricia was able to outcoach them. So it was just they won. They barely hung on to win, but that was an ugly game, which just proves why the Cardinals are still rebuilding. But next is let's go to the East, where I just have one thing written for there is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Worst division in football. Then let's go to the Cowboys. Head coach Mike McCarthy had bad management at the end of the first half. This is one of the games I watched. And I don't understand why he didn't call timeout to give your team another chance. And then Dak Prescott throwing the interception to give Seahawks more points, I think is what happened, if I remember right. It's just, what are you thinking? No, and then next is they need a free agent like Earl Thomas. Just get what's bad for your locker room, dude. You know what's bad for your locker room? Not being able to keep the uh keep the opposing offense off the field for more than just after they score. Like if the fact that your offense is scoring a lot, but your defense ain't doing nothing. So that's bad for the locker room. But and then the third thing is Dak Prescott did make a couple mistakes that game. The interception at the first half and the late interception, two boneheaded mistakes. But then let's go to the Giants. One bullet. Giants season is over. That's all I got. It's another Bill Belichick coach failed. When our team's gonna understand that Bill Belichick's coaches aren't that good. Bill O'Brien obviously points to him. Yes, he's been head coach for a while, but he hasn't led them to anything. So, maybe a couple playoff runs. I don't know for sure. I don't really follow the Titans, but it's like it's not worth. Just no. And then next is the Eagles. Deshaun Watson hurt again. This time with a hamstring injury. He just needs to retire. He's past his prime. Head coach Doug Peterson passes a game-winning field goal and then says he's okay with a tie. Why? What's the point being a head coach if you don't go for the win? Stupid. Yeah, let's punt instead of going for a field goal. Retarded. But no offense to anybody. But and then the final note for the Eagles is Carson Wentz has regressed a ton. He had a 61.7 completion percentage, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a QBR of 62.8. Terrible. And let's go next to the Washington football team, where let's scroll down here first. Oh, there. Where Chase Young, biggest thing, Chase Young got injured, I think, in the second quarter with a groin injury. So that sucks. That would have been cool. Like, they're not on the field the same, but him going against Myles Garrett, who could cause more ruckus, would have been cool. But and then QB Dwayne Haskins isn't the move in my opinion. Maybe he could. I just don't see it. He had 56.8 completion percentage, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions and a 58.8 QBR. I think the Chargers quarterback, who is his first full game starting, only had 1 interception. So, and then let's go to the NFC South. The only bullet point I have is Saints first Sunday Night Football loss at home. It's another 11-1. Right here, baby. Right here. But besides that, let's start with the Saints. Running back Alvin Kamara proves he is one of the best in the league. I'll admit it. He tore us up. Like, this is us. Boom. Just tore us up, Mia Khalifa style. But 6 attempts, 197 yards, and 2 touchdowns is what he had. He's the reason why Drew Brees had such good stats. Just as facts. But and then next is the defense isn't good enough to support Drew Brees. If they're just gonna give up big plays, we laid to the same play with that screen thing, whatever it was, play option. 6 times each time we got over 10 yards. It felt like so. They need to do something about that. They're just outplaying themselves, and then costly penalties, 2 late game pass interference calls. Like first, we get you offsides, right? That's it. What's the worst that can happen? And then you foul? Like, you leave a hold on with both your arms, then you complain to the ref. Like, what is it? A basketball? And then right after that, another one by Jack Rabbit again. I just don't understand. Overrated is what Jack Rabbit is. Yes, he got that 1 pick 6 against Tom Brady, but 1 pick 6 and it cost you this game. I think he also got burnt last game. I can't really remember, but that's something. But then let's also what's his nuts? Phil Sims' son or whatever. I forgot what his name is or whatever. But saying that Saints are better the team than us. Who won the game? Who won the game? We won the game. Who was basically couldn't be stopped? Aaron Rodgers. And then saying Kenny Clark ain't saying that their mortality. Kenny Clark literally they would have been around as good as they were if we had Kenny Clark. Just want to point that out. So we're a better football team. But besides that, sorry I got heated there. But let's go to the Buccaneers, where they got a stacked defense. They had two interceptions, 6 sacks, and 1 safety. And then next, so they got a really good defense. So another Tom Brady team that has a good defense that could carry them. But QB Tom Brady finally had a good game. 25 completions out of 38 attempts. 297 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And let's go to the Falcons. Blown another lead. That's all I have to say. And then, okay, next first team to ever blow that like a 15 whatever point lead 2 times in the same season, or the 3, 2 or 3. I can't remember how many they've done this season, but you get the point. And then the West is just then let's go to the NFC West, which is one thing bloodbath. That's gonna that is gonna be a hard division to win, but some injuries come from there, big time injuries. So strong safety Jamal Adams injured his groin, which ain't good. And then Chris Carson, this was so messed up. Got alligator rolled. I hate the Seahawks, but got alligator rolled, and it could have been worse, but he got a knee sprain, so that sucks. That Cowboys player just needs to be off the team just for that. But at least it's just been not just a fine when they make millions. It's like yes, money goes to charity, but it's just ain't really a big punishment. But and then QB Russell Wilson breaks the most passing touchdowns record in the first 2 weeks. He had 14 touchdowns, which is the most ever. That's someone's passing touchdowns that someone scored in the first 3 weeks of the season. And let's get to the Rams. They dug too deep of a hole to win. Like they almost came back, but with the bad ref call and stuff, just costed them. Defensive tackle Aaron Donald still amazing. He had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, and 6 tackles. And then let's go 49ers. They blew out the Giants even though they had a ton of injuries. And then QB Nick Mullen keeps up the pylon meme where he goes and fixes it, which is pretty funny. I also don't like the Niners. I really just don't like him in the NFC. Actually, I like everybody but the Seahawks and Rams out of the NFC West. But next is the Cardinals. Reality check to the NFC West. Oh, to their NFC West hopes. This ain't their year. They're still on rebuild mode. They don't have a solid offensive line. But Kyler Murray also took a step back. He had 23 completions out of 35 attempts, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Pretty bad. And then that's the end of the NFC. So let's go to the AFC. With the AFC, let's start with the division leaders. Chiefs lead the AFC West. Bills lead the AFC East. Steelers lead the AFC North. And Titans lead the AFC South. Yeah, South. All undefeated. Best division, in my opinion, is the AFC North. They got Steelers and Ravens, which are probably going to be playoff teams, and then possibly the Browns. And then next is the worst division is AFC South. It's not bad, but with the Jets and being the worst team in the football, probably tying like the Lions of all time, the whatever year the 0-16 Lions went. That's pretty bad. And so yeah, that's what tanks them so far down below the other 3 divisions. Plus off the good. And the Texans, I don't even know what happened to them this year. But yeah, And then next is the flip. Why am I blanking? Oh yeah, NFC North. One thing: Steelers are the best team in the AFC North. Question mark. They might be. They also have been barely beating these teams that they've been going against. But I don't know about the Ravens after seeing what they pulled off today. But also, let's go to the Ravens. Ravens kryptonite is the Chiefs. So that's even what I don't know what Lamar Jackson said in an interview or whatever after game. And then head coach Jim Harbaugh is getting is outraged over on social media over him yelling at the ref like at his face with his mask not on. Which I don't believe that they have to wear masks, but still it's a rule. So you having it off and yelling at him in the face is kind of messed up. But let's go to the Browns. First time having a winning record in 6 years. Let's go Browns. And then next is Myles Garrett is a monster. He had 7 pressures, 6 sacks, and 3 turnovers that were caused by him pressuring the QB. And then let's go to the Steelers. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson, don't you know that's the name, and fullback Derek Watt both got injured. All their opponents, though, are winners that they've faced, which is why I'm not going to instantly say that they're the best team in the AFC North. And let's go to the Bengals. The Bengals, QB Joe Burrow took a scary hit. He was out of game, I think, 1 possession or something. 1 play or something like that. I didn't really watch the game, and then came back, which is impressive. And I saw this thing by forgot who it was. It was a tweet or whatever, but it was like if Joe Burrow could get out of bed, it was TJ Lang. If Joe Burrow could get out of bed, though, so can you. I thought it was pretty funny. But next is they broke a record. Joe Burrow did most completions through first 3 career games. He has 91 completions. And next is wide receiver Tyler Boyd. On the rise, he had 10 receptions, 125 yards, 12.5 average yards per catch, 25 yards was his longest, and 0 touchdowns. And then let's go to the East. It is top heavy with the Patriots and why did I say? I don't know why I said that South was Jets. I got them mixed up. But whatever, it's still the worst. But I don't know why I brought the Jets into it and the Dolphins. It's just the Colts and Texans. Colts are, I don't know about them. Texans are 0-3. And what was the other team? Jaguars, they're just, it's a cluster truck there. But and because of this is why they're below the East, because he's top heavy with the Patriots and the Bills. So the Patriots, first point is running back Rex Burkhead goes off. I watched this game. He went flying around. 6 attempts. 49 yards and 7 receptions is what he had. And 2 touchdowns, pretty sure. But Google stats or whatever doesn't show that for some reason. But they dedicated the win to grieving running back James White after his parent died. I don't know if his mom died or not, but I know his dad died. So for the second game in a row, James White did not participate. Well, let's go to the third point. They ended up shutting down Raiders tight end Darren Waller. He had 2 receptions. One of them, I think both of them were both late, and the game was basically over by then. But he had 2 receptions for 9 yards, an average of 4.5 per catch, and his longest was 8 yards. So 8 of those yards were from one of the plays, and then he had 0 touchdowns. And then let's go to the Dolphins. QB Fitzpatrick breaks the record by recording at least 1 win against the Jaguars with 6 different teams. He beat him when he was with the Bengals, then with the Bills, then with the Titans, then with the Texans, then with the Jets, and then with the Dolphins. So I guess he's the Jaguars kryptonite. So yeah, that's pretty dope. And then next is Myles Gaskin is emerging as a starting running back. That's good. He's out. They got 2 veterans. He proved to be he's the number 1 out of them, which is impressive. And then the offensive line is proving to trust the process. like the 76ers. They trust the process, and the offensive line is really starting to get good. And let's get to the Jets. The Jets. The Jets. Uh, fans were able to. The fact that fans were able to start a Fire Gase chant even though they were away, the Jets were away for that game, and there's only allowed a few thousand fans even there. So that's bad. And then hashtag fire Adam Gase. And then let's go to the Bills. They tried their best to one up the Falcons, but even they had more what's it called? Not privilege. I don't know. I don't even know, but they're not that low to lose to blow lead. And then QB Josh Allen is still cooking. He had 72.7 completion percentage, 311 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and a QBR of 128.9, which is really good. So he's not interception machine like he was last year. Let's get to the NFC South. The Titans lead this confusing division is the 1 point I got for it. Let's go to the Jaguars. I'm going to probably fly through this because it's getting kind of long. James Robinson is emerging. He had 11 carries, 46 yards, 4.2 average, and 2 touchdowns, so he did really good. Starting to look like the Jags. First one was a fluke because they've been what I expected the Rams to be the next 2 games since then. And then Gardner Minshew might be the next tragic where he does good, and then he's not good enough, so he gets passed around the league. So yeah, and hashtag beard over. I used to rock what Gardner Minshew has, but for the beard. But next is the Colts. Defense is amazing. In 3 games, they have only allowed 676 yards. They outscored the Jets offense. The defense did 16-7. And then QB Philip Rivers has his first no interception game this season. He had an 81% completion percentage, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and a 125.6 QBR. Next is the Texans. Has Bill O'Brien overstayed his welcome, or is it just the schedule? Because they have had a hard schedule, but who knows? I think they're facing the Vikings this week, so we'll see which one's worse off. The run defense has been ran over every week, so that's good for not Jared Good, Cook, but again, the Vikings running back. But they allowed. I guess I didn't say, but they've been ran over every single week. They haven't been able to stop anything. And QB Deshaun Watson has had no chance to throw or anything because he's already been sacked 13 times this season. So after their line getting better last year, they have regressed again. Next to the Titans, the secondary has been a big concern. They still have no pass rush. In the 3rd game in a row, that time Ryan Tannehill led a game-winning drive that ended with kicker Stephen Gostkowski hitting the game-winning field goal. And then next, let's go to the final division, the West. Easy. Chiefs keep this division relevant. Imagine if the Chiefs were just mediocre. You'd have a mediocre Chiefs, injury-ridden Broncos. Raiders, don't even know what the flip's going on with them. And then a Chargers team that's still rebuilding. So just think about that. But let's start with the Broncos. Injury. Defensive tackle Jarrell Casey, torn bicep. Next, Broncos filled the stands with South Park characters, which I thought was really funny. That was cool, even though they lost. And then, are the Broncos going to hashtag tank for Trevor? Because I see the Vikings fans all saying it, but are the Broncos going to sweep in and take them? I don't know. And then, let's get to the Chiefs. They still run the AFC. Patrick Mahomes broke a record. He was the fastest to 10,000 passing yards. ever. And then next, go to the Raiders. Linebacker Corey Littleton named worst grade defender through 3 games in the NFL. That must feel bad. And then reality check, they're not a Super Bowl contender. And then oh yeah, they also couldn't stop the run. They allowed 250 rush yards. So that's something. And then let's go to the Chargers. QB Justin Herbert had an injury scare. Scare. And as I said that wrong for a second, but and also he he showed some promising potential that game. He threw an interception. He did pretty good. And defensive end Melvin Ingram and defensive tackle Justin Jones both got on IR. So, if you enjoy this video, I'm talking to you. If you enjoy this video, don't drop a like and subscribe. It's 1:03 a.m. right now for me. Well, this video wasn't supposed to be long, so let me hurry up and end this. But if you enjoy this video, then drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces. Bada boop.